At least half of Gaza's 2.3 million population are crammed into Rafah, a city so densely populated any offensive would be devastating. Hunger, disease, displacement, and in recent days a heat wave, all adding to the misery. Israel's frequent airstrikes mean the fear of death already hangs over them. The Hamas-run health ministry says another 66 Palestinians were killed in the last day, taking the death toll to 34,500 since the October the 7th attack on Israel. Hamas has put out its second video this week showing hostages it's holding in Gaza. It further increases the pressure on Israel's government, galvanizing the Saturday night protesters in Tel Aviv who are demanding a deal to secure their release. Hamas said it's studying the latest Israeli proposal for a temporary ceasefire in exchange for the release of hostages who were sick, injured, female or elderly. Delegations from both Hamas and Israel are expected in Egypt in the coming days for talks. If Hamas accepts the deal, Israel says it could suspend the offensive in Rafah. If not, it will move ahead with the assault. Well, a short while ago, I spoke to Matthew Hollingworth, the country director for Palestine for the World Food Programme, who is in Gaza. And I began by asking about the potential Rafah operation and what impact that could have on the people there.
There's already more than 1.2 million people displaced into Rafah, a town where 250,000 people used to live before this war started. If those people are going to be displaced again because of a full-scale incursion into Rafah, it's going to really make their lives so much harder. But it also means that, you know, so many people will potentially die because of it, because the place is so incredibly congested. There's no space here. Every time there's any missiles, mortars, shell fire into this area, multiple people lose their lives and many, many more are injured.
We know there's been some issue with aid getting in. The White House say that Israel have started to meet their aid commitments. What are you seeing on the ground?
There's no question, in the last few weeks, we've started to see a modest improvement in terms of getting aid into the worst areas of the Strip, in particular areas that were the epicenter of our concern around famine. So huge improvement, but still meager when you look at the totality of need. So we've got to do more, but we are seeing that improvement taking place.
What's the greatest need right now?
It's an accumulation of everything. People need access to healthcare. They need access to clean water. They need access to shelter. And yes, they need access to food and nutrition. But almost more than anything else, they need stability. This is an entire community, you know, more than 1 million people who are severely traumatized, mental health issues, just going to sleep hearing bombing, waking up hearing bombing, listening to drones and wondering what's going to happen next. And then this great fear factor. So people need stability. They need the ceasefires that are being discussed.
You've just listed how dire the situation is for people there. There's also a heat wave as well. What impact is that having? What are people telling you about how difficult that is in Gaza?
Look, you've got a situation as well where we also have a fuel shortage, and without fuel, you don't have generators, and without generators, you can't pump clean water, you can't pump sewage. Solid waste is everywhere, rubbish, garbage rotting away. The stench is awful. The number of flies that people have to cope with every day is disgusting. All sorts of waterborne diseases, diarrhea. I mean, you know, it's a public health crisis, and the heat and the summer is going to make that worse.
How hopeful are you for a resolution soon that will help the people of Gaza?
I mean, this has got to be over soon. It's you know, with more than 34,000 people killed, so many more, double the number injured. It has to end. It's got to end for all sides. But I hope that the politicians listening to this put every effort into finding solutions, because humanitarians can only, you know, pick up the pieces and provide, you know, a band-aid to this issue. We can't solve it. That has to come from the peacemakers.
Matthew Hollingworth, thank you very much for your time. Thank you.